there were all these stories around how difficult for them was leaving Syria, then crossing a lot of different countries, many times ended up in Turkey or Libya, and then had to risk their life to cross and come to Europe. So that was a part of, because Save the Children is working on the land, can we have a role also in working on the sea? And this is where we got to meet the Italian Coast Guard, which since then became my favorite heroes. So you really have to be grateful to this fantastic group of people because they are doing an incredible job that a lot of time is completely unknown. So we went to Lampedusa and we had a meeting with these guys. And there were a lot of information around the fact that there was a need in terms of really, they needed help on the sea because they couldn't rescue all the people and they were losing a lot of lives because when a boat sinks, it sinks very, very quickly. So either you are there or when you arrive, people are already dead. So you don't have like, 6 hours, 7 hours. When they are sinking, usually it's 45 minutes that you have to get there. And there was this, so we provided us a really a full understanding, a picture of what they do, the need that we have, how the flows of migrants have changed. But what and again, this I share with Marco, what I brought with me was again, because actually, what I think it sticks with you a lot of time, it's really the emotion you feel in a certain particular moment. So there was this big Sicilian man, very strong, very proud, was a captain of the Coast Guard. I don't remember exactly which was his role. And he was, I remember because he was very big. With very big hand. And it was like, wow, that's a big man. He cannot fear anything. And he was telling us that a lot of time they get out with this seaboat that they have 35 seats. And usually they come back with 200 people on them. So it means that a boat which is fit for 35 people, then because they have to rescue is 200. They don't sink because these are unsinkable. So they have to be sure they don't lose people when they are coming back and that people don't freeze, for example, because it may be very cold. But they really stuck all the people in a very small boat. And he told a story, and he told a lot of stories actually. And then at a certain time, I think we asked a very stupid question, which was, or a naive question probably, which was about how can you survive witnessing all this time these things and saving people, seeing people dying, what's behind? And he said, well, we work under an imperative which is we save lives. So we don't mind government, borders, whatever. The law of the sea is that you save lives. That's our imperative. And he told that story, and then tears come to his eyes. So this is why I said this big man then ended in crime, which for me was very powerful and shocking. And he said that he would never forget a lot of the stories that he saw, because for example, once he got to, they arrived when the boat was already sinking. The boats are rubber boats, so they are Chinese rubber boats. They are made to make like 12, 13 miles. And then they are made to sink because they do like a sandwich. Usually they close like that. And so people sink inside the rubber boat, or they simply, because they cannot swim, a lot of them, they may die. And he said that he got there and they got after the sinking. So where they were looking, there were a lot of dead bodies, and he saw that there was a man still moving. So he went close to him and he tried to get the man, and because they knew they had to put a limited number of people in their own boat, he could take only the live people. So if people were dead on the sea, he couldn't take the bodies. And this was a man who was hugging a child which was dead. It was his own child. And he had to separate the father from the child because he had to have space on the boat for the people who were still alive. And of course, you can imagine this father wouldn't, he really didn't want to leave his child. So when he said that, and I could really figure, I mean, I could imagine him, this very big guy, he could really separate the man from the child because he had the level of strength in terms of power, but I mean, the level of fatigue and the level of sorrow that he had, I mean, you could really feel it, and this man would never forget.